Good evening, everyone out there in the YouTube land. We are here to talk about the Peacemaker season 2 finale. A finale so big that I had to bring Jeff to tag along. We yeah, we both just finished watching the episode. Did you watch the little bits after the piece by piece or whatever?
Like a half second of it, but then I
Oh, okay.
turned it off to
All right.
like set all my
To
stuff
get
up
going.
here.
All right.
Yeah,
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 we'll talk about that. We are gonna get fully into spoilers for season 2. We're gonna mainly focus on tonight on the final episode. I think we're gonna do a full separate show to talk about. Um, I mean, I will ask you at the end like one quick sentence of like, what do you think? Where are we going next? But so keep
yeah.
that in mind. Also, if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat, let us know your theories. Let us know what you thought of the episode. So let's get into it. Before we get into all the piece by piece of whatever happened, Jeff, overall, how did you like the finale for season 2?
I felt it felt a little uneven. Honestly, it felt a little
Yeah, yeah,
uneven. There was I'm glad they went circled back around to like they've been talking about the boat all season, so I
yeah.
figured they'd come back around to that. But then there was a lot of, and as excited as I was to see Nelson myself, uh, being of a certain age, like I was just like, why is it? There's a whole lot of going to rock band concerts in this episode. There's a lot of that. There's like huge, two big things that are happening, like with all the characters and with the DC universe and like all the like what the show's about, and then like we have a couple of concerts in the middle of it. So I was just like, it feels a little uneven.
Season 2 of Peacemaker was just an excuse for James Gunn to throw a Nelson Foxy Shazam double feature, double header concert on a boat.
Yeah,
Um,
he's perfecting the needle drops.
yeah, for sure.
He's
The needles drop so hard that you get the whole band to do a concert in the show.
Mhm.
So okay. I wrote down all the big moments of the episode, so we'll just kind of go through them and we'll get our impressions out there. Like I said, if you're in the chat or in the comments, let
Well,
us
how
know.
did you feel about the episode? Like
Oh,
just generally?
yeah, no, I mean, very similar. I liked it a lot, though. I really thought, oh, James Gunn is gonna give us this nice happy ending because we got a nice kind of happy ending with Superman, but
Yeah.
this is not Superman. This is Peacemaker. Maybe he doesn't get a happy ending. So
he
yeah,
gets he gets another season. That's what
yeah.
we know for sure.
If they
Well,
don't like, that's my fear that they will pick this up in a movie and then maybe we don't get another season. But I think they set up enough pieces, no pun intended. You'll know why. Uh, to actually have a third season of Peacemaker, which would be an insane. If you had told me 5 years ago that Peacemaker would be one of the more successful TV
yeah, yeah.
shows, um, I would have believed you were high. But here we are. Okay. We begin with a flashback. One thing we didn't do last episode, which was a flashback, but we do begin with a flashback. We see Chris and Harcourt eat at a Big Belly. That was nice. A Big Belly
Mm.
callback to the comics. We've seen Big Belly Burger in a lot of DC properties. Um, Funny enough, this Big Belly apparently has a full bar, which is not.
Yeah, you can order shots. Yeah, the flight of shots.
Yeah, not a feature that I've ever seen in any of the Tom King Batman comics when they're having Big Belly, but maybe
Yeah,
because Batman doesn't drink.
I don't think that's just something you can get at a Brahms either.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that, we go to the boat. Oh, we they walk around like this really nice board. I wish we had a boardwalk kind of like that here in the city to
Yeah,
just go out and do stuff. And then that's where we see that they're gonna go to a Nelson concert, and we cut into the main song, which I want to talk a little bit about the opening song because it definitely grew on me throughout the season. But
hmm
also, and now that we're here at the end, James Gunn tells you a lot of what's gonna happen in the choreography of like everything that's going on, right? You have Chris, then you have everything going on. You because you only see hardcore and and the people from the normal Earth first. Then things go wrong. You even see Argus come in, right, with Saint Red and Rick Flag and Bordeaux. So they kind of step into the world of Peacemaker, and then you go to the other Earth. So like those have been all the kind of story, like overarching story beats. And I was like, is he gonna kill everyone? Because at the end of the song, they're all kind of like dead on the floor or whatever. So I was like, I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't fully stick to the song.
No, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I'll be honest with you. This was the only time I watched the intro. Was this
Really?
episode?
Oh, dude, I've
Yeah, I
never
always
skipped
skip
it.
it.
I never skip it. I I made myself not skip it the second time because I was like, this isn't as good as the first one. And then it
Uh,
just kind of grew on me. It's a nice earworm. I'm sure we'll be. You were telling me before we started recording, you'll be hearing that song in your head for a while.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's definitely
so
stuck in there right now. I think that's why I always skipped it because I was just like, because it's always
yeah.
like it was like on TikTok and everything for a while. I'm just like, no, 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 I can't get this stuck in my head. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. Then we get back to the episode. We see Peacemaker is in prison. He doesn't want to see any visitors. The team keeps trying to go see him. He calls himself the Angel of Death because every time he goes to see somebody or something, like people end up dying around him,
He's got some
and
trauma.
obviously that can be probably very traumatizing as a person.
Yeah,
And then we get to probably the weirdest part of the episode where we see Argus exploring all these doors. We see Harcourt's working with them. We get to see Otis from the Superman film. Pretty much Lex providing feedback via notes because he's still in prison, even though he's still helping Argus.
mhm.
Um, and then we see that I have a list of the doors that they open, but one thing I noticed is like very slowly Lex Luthor's people got
Yeah.
back
They start showing up
into yeah.
in the thing. I could
So
have used some more
more
fleshing
doors.
that out. Well,
Oh
but more of the behind the scenes of I could have used one more scene with Nicholas Holt kind of
yeah,
manipulating maybe Rick Flag. You can kind of see that a little bit.
yeah.
I think I would
Even
have
if it was
enjoyed a little bit more meat there.
maybe even Otis reporting to Lex, so we can see
Yeah.
like how the manipulation's going, right? So
Hmm.
I agree, I agree. Um, here's what we saw in the doors, because I wrote them all down, that the ones that they open. They open the door and it's full of these. It looks almost like a Candyland sort of place,
Can
and we see
Candyland.
these imps that start killing everyone. They end up killing Klein, and Flurry and Harcourt are also being attacked by these imps. They ripped off that man's face. Those little sweet little imps that explode like candy when you shoot them.
Yes,
Um, so yeah,
that's
pretty
not a world
gnarly
I want to
imagery.
visit. I
Yep,
wonder if they taste good. I wonder if you can cook those little creatures though.
like
I bet they
candy.
would
Yeah.
taste like candied
Um,
bacon.
we see Agent Rip Jagger, Judo Master, open a door that leads to a black hole. We see the giant skull spider things that Flurry's like, nah, I'm good. We're gonna close this door back up. We see a world of zombies. One of the guys from Argus gets bit by a zombie and turns into a zombie, and I forget the names of the because Flurry gave him those weird nicknames. I forget their actual names. So the one he calls Mexicali ends up shooting the zombie guy in the head.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then we finally get to a door that leads to a place that looks like it can sustain human life. Um, so before we find out why that's important, we do cut to see the other kid. So, but any thoughts on the doors? Oh, I guess we also saw the alien that we've seen before multiple times, but it looks like they were not looking. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go look at his door. Yeah, some of those doors were pretty fun. I'm wondering if we've seen them in like if they're just like deep cuts to weird 50s comics that, Kurt Swan may have drawn or something like that. They're just like these weird, other things. I think I would
Yeah.
have enjoyed like an Easter egg to I mean, we saw Earth X, but maybe just a random other Earth of some sort that we would all be like, "Oh,
Well,
cool."
and I was wondering, like, is that zombie like is that the deceased or something like that?
That's kind of what
Uh,
I was thinking. Like when I first saw zombies, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna see like somebody I mean, they can't introduce. It'd be weird if they were like, and this is our Flash, as a zombie first, but like, I don't know, like a
Can you
zombie
imagine
metamorpho would have been cool, that would have been fun.
a zombie Guy Gardner?
Yeah, zombie Guy Gardner, that would have been fun. Just as a little
we do have a
cameo.
quick comment here from LBM. Pretty unsatisfying ending in my opinion, but I hope others enjoy it. I think that's pretty fair. I think it feels like the hype that have built around this episode. There's still, there's a lot of loose ends. We'll definitely talk about how satisfied we are on a scale of 1 to Peacemaker.
It really, it really felt like it peaked last issue, like
yeah,
last
yeah,
episode, and you're like, oh my god, like that was such an emotional roller coaster at the end of that episode. That now we're here, and then right off the bat, you're like, oh, written and directed by James Gunn. You're like, it's gonna be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's strap in, and then it's a concert.
All right, so we see that Adebayo goes to see Vigilante. Their relationship between Vigilante and his mom, like, it cracks me up because it's just he's so mean to her for no reason. And she's so nice, and she's like, "Here's your friend," and like, so she finally convinced him to use the money that he's got stashed in his house, in his little stash house, to get
pallet of
Peacemaker
cash
out of jail. So much
so
cash.
insane. She's my favorite part of the show. Adebayo, she is so good. I wish I knew her name as the actress, but she's so good. Like, she's great.
She's great. She has a really cool scene later on. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I agree. I think Vigilante is also like the cast in the whole series, but Vigilante has some of the best scenes. He's just so good, and especially, we got a little Daniel Brooks is Adebayo, and Freddie Stroma is Adrian Chase. But yeah, they such a different version from the comics, but it still really works, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Every time I see a Vigilante comic, I can't. Now I think of Adrian.
Even very different from the CW Vigilante, which is not a character I would have thought that I would see two live action
versions
in my lifetime. But here we are. Okay, so they bail Peacemaker out of jail, but he just leaves without saying anything. I like that Economos was taken care of eagerly. That also gets paid off later in the episode. In a really nice moment that really tricks you into thinking like, oh, I think they're going to be okay. So we then get to see this like Rick Flag, Luthor guys like cozy cocaine party as they kind of celebrate that they found the right door, right? They found a place that can sustain human life, and we're finally going to know what the heck is going on because we go to the Pentagon and we see Rick Flag pitch this planet salvation that he calls this door as a prison for metahumans. So he wants to grab. I don't know if he wants to or this is Lex's plan. It's kind of hard to tell if Rick Flag even has a mind of his own anymore.
Yeah, again, I would like to have seen more either manipulation on behalf of Lex, or even at some point some kind of like, more than just manipulation. Like somehow Lex is, in comic book world, mind controlling or something like that. But
give me one more reason to
push.
Rick Flag. Yeah, Rick Flag doesn't really hate metahumans, especially not the way the one we met in the Superman film. He hates Peacemaker, but he's just a regular dude that's really good at violence, right? So yeah, that flip. I guess if you take Creature Commandos into account, he would be a little bit more against metahumans. So that kind of. But if you're not watching everything, I don't know if you watch Creature Commandos.
Well, I didn't, but if you are just watching the show, it does seem kind of counterintuitive to the first part of his character in the series, and even his character in Superman, because he doesn't really seem on board in Superman with like the whole prison and stuff. He's just kind of like, well, I'm just a soldier, kind of running through the motions in that movie, because he kind of argues against it, I think, a little bit, if I'm remembering correctly. But our guess against it. Uh, but it is kind of it does feel like a quick turn
Yeah,
in this film from I need to get revenge for my son to I'm opening up a giant prison. I also would
and
have liked to the again being that kind of underlying tone that we're going to see here in a second, where there's a power grab, and how corruption, whatever. Like they could have
Mhm.
been like, oh, we're also looking for resources in some of these other, like it could have been a full on like capitalism is bad kind of
Yeah,
thing, where
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, it's not just like we're looking for this prison world, but we're looking to exploit all kinds of things through these doors, like it was, which
yeah,
is what I would imagine would actually happen.
yeah. Now after this meeting, Bordeaux, who had gotten pretty close to Rick Flag throughout the whole season, she kind of finally gets fed up. She goes to see Harcourt, and then they meet up with Adebayo. And then we get that's when while they're planning, I guess, while Adebayo's filling in like her big idea, which also gets paid off later on,
Hmm.
we get a flashback to the Nelson concert back on the boat. And we finally know what happened on the boat. And it's kind of a nice thing that is just like they went to a concert and they kissed, Hardcore and Peacemaker kissed, and they had a good time. And that's kind of what Hardcore doesn't like. That's probably her most moment of conflict, because she began, and we know that she hates Peacemaker for what he did to Rick Flag Jr., but also like, is she now also in love with him? So it's
I mean,
complicated.
Nelson could do crazy things to you when you're
Yeah.
listening to Nelson. Yeah, more than words. I don't know
And
if that's Nelson.
James Gunn warned us that there was going to be a full song, because this episode is titled "Full Nelson." Uh,
Yeah,
it's buyer beware.
so, so
Um,
much good wordplay. So much good
yep.
wordplay.
So once we get past the cruise, Adebayo, after the conversation she had with Judo Master, goes to talk to her wife, and they also kind of break things off in a very emotional scene as well, which is part of what I really like about this show. Like that, I'm invested in the characters and them
Yeah,
feeling like their emotions, and like all these strong scenes also really pay off. So
for sure.
they end up finally finding Peacemaker. They reunite with the plan. And I think this felt like this was going to be kind of the closing of the show. The vigilantes finally using the money. They set up this office. We get this really nice moment with Eagly and Economos, where Eagly finally kind of accepts him, puts him under
Well,
his
but
wing, if you will.
real quick before that, when they have the final kind of intervention with Chris with
Oh,
Peacemaker
yeah,
and the
yeah.
whole
Oh, that's
program,
right. I skipped that.
going back to Adebayo, because she has three like very emotional scenes in this
Yep.
in this episode where I was like, praising her acting. So she talks to Adrian at the beginning and has this kind of like talking Adrian into using the money. And then she has the breakup scene, and then she has the scene where she's like, Chris, you're my best friend, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
uh, that's at that point I was just like, she carries this show, and
Yep. Yep.
it's just so good. Yeah. I
Yeah. It's
definitely
really
just
good
wanted to call
stuff.
that out, because I was just like,
No, I agree.
three things in the episode. Yeah.
I meant to call that, and I mean they all chime in on like how Chris has changed their life. I think she makes a Adebayo makes a very strong argument of like the only times you ended up doing bad stuff or dumb stuff like that is when you were listening to other people, right? His
Yeah.
dad is the one that told him to fight his brother. Waller is the one that told him to kill Rick Flag. And what was the
He
third
knew
thing?
better. She was like, you
Yeah,
knew better than to go
he
into
knew
the
better than
alternate
that.
dimension.
So yeah, ultimately, when Chris is just Chris, uh, which this version of Peacemaker has definitely evolved a lot from the version from the comic books. He's
Yeah.
because he is not like that at all. He's the worst. So, but we also get a really nice spider facts questioning
I
with
would watch, like, give me all that. That's what I want. Give me those
yeah.
two just doing dumb facts with one another.
It's
Uh,
they're very
yeah.
good. I think, man, what's his name? Tim Meadows is
Tim
so
Meadows.
good. That whole I skipped over it, but that whole story about Klein going to the strip club, like while they're
Yeah.
looking for the doors. it's insane. Like, yeah, this show they really used Tim Meadows to the fullest of his abilities. Uh, and I think we get like what I would say is probably the biggest Easter egg from the comics. Adebayo's plan was to start an agency, and it's called Checkmate.
Yes.
The,
I was
well,
as they were setting up the offices, I was like, what is this business going to be called? And I
yeah.
was like racking my brain. I'm like, what if it's Watchmen because of
Mhm.
Peacemakers? Like,
Yeah, I was going
uh,
through all the organizations in my head, but Checkmate did
so
not come. I should have known because I mean, Checkmate's something that I think Amanda Waller started in the comics after
yeah,
she
I was
got.
like, it's very Amanda Waller
Mhm.
adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Adebayo is Waller's kid in this universe, so it would make sense that that would fall to her. We also get this little, you know, about Ultra Bunny. I think it's like a thing that James Gunn puts in a lot of his movies. So we get to see
Mhm.
the Rick Flag was wearing an Ultra Bunny shirt, the yellow shirt
Okay.
with the
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bunny
Yeah.
in the Suicide Squad film. So we get so we know that that was his, and Harcourt has it at her desk at Checkmate. Um, and when they left Checkmate, I was like, oh, we're gonna leave on a nice note, and Checkmate is gonna be what happens in season 3. But boy, was I ever wrong.
I'm
Because
glad that that's not how it ended because I was like,
yeah,
what a weird happy ending that
yeah,
feels hollow
yeah.
and
Because we
vacant.
so all this is going on to the music of Foxy Shazam's
Yeah. Yeah.
song from the beginning, right? And we get to see that Hardcore and Chris went back to the boat. Everybody, so it really felt like it was building up to a happy moment.
Yeah.
But then, of course, after the concert, we see that Peacemaker is taken by the Argus people, and they take him back to the base because apparently he volunteered to be the human trial at this Salvation planet. I think when he signed his confession or whatever, I don't I don't remember if I remember there was a scene where I think Rick Flag wanted him to sign something, but I don't know if that's when it happened.
I
Um,
just imagine corruption, like they
yeah, I mean
forged it.
either
Either way, yeah,
that could be the case for sure. But yeah, we end this season with Peacemaker being left on this world, and then although this world looks like a nice peaceful meadow, like you start hearing all these like roaring sounds from like Jurassic Park is about to happen to him or something. Now,
yeah. It's my hope is immediately. I was like, what cameos are we immediately going to, or what? And we're going to introduce new weird DC characters
yeah,
in that thing. But before we get into speculation,
sure,
I'm going to. These were my questions that I had throughout the episode.
shoot him. Let's go.
One, can you just bail out a guy out of prison when you're wanted for federal crimes and international, like interdimensional travel or whatever they arrested him on? I'm like, I feel like the bail is probably set pretty high, and he's probably not just in normal prison, but whatever.
Probably had a really good lawyer. They
Yeah,
paid a lot of
yeah.
money. They grabbed
They
a lot
paid
of
a
money.
lot of in cash. In
Yeah.
cash. Also, did they just let you quit whatever government agency that? Because it seemed like they all just were like, okay, we're going to start our own business, and I'm like, aren't they still sending you into the like? You still work for Rick Flag Junior or Senior? What, you
Yeah.
can't just leave. Like I'm like they just let you go and open up your own
They
spy
they got to have
business.
like a non-compete or an NDA or something. You must have signed something.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, everything wrapped up a little too neat for me in some cases.
Mhm.
But it's whatever. It's comic book movies, so
Yeah. So, anything else? Any other question? Any other lingering questions?
I do. I also think that Peacemaker got over his trauma real quick because a girl liked him. I was like, again, you went from like having a full on breakdown and thinking that
Yeah.
you were cursed to being like, oh, the boat did mean something. Now I'm going to do a dance and just everything's. I feel like there should have been. Again,
Well,
everything just felt a
there
little
was a
rushed.
1 week time jump.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're right. You're right.
That should be enough.
And he was very high because
He
he was
was very
smoking
high.
that one joint for
He
a
was.
good 15
I
minutes.
I saw an interview that Peacemaker was talking about, or not Peacemaker. John Cena was talking about like they had to show him how to smoke a joint because he's never smoked a joint. So that was really funny. I am looking forward to the podcast tomorrow when I watch it, because I usually watch
Mm.
the podcast that they do. I wonder if John Cena is going to be their guest. It would make sense that he would be there for the last
Yeah.
one. So what I was going to ask, can you think of, in your years of comic book knowledge, and this is maybe something we can speculate more when we do our full show, or maybe James Gunn will talk about it. Can you think of anything in the comics that could be like that planet? I'm thinking if there's anything in DC world like the Savage Land in the for Marvel, and all I
Uh,
keep coming up with like what's the boy from the future? Um
oh, oh, gosh, that's not
the
where I thought you
last
were going.
few,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's a Kirby guy.
yeah, Kirby guy from the
It's like
future. Let us know in the chat
it's
because
like
we're stumbling here.
Jack or something like that. I know who you're talking
Well,
about.
I keep
I'll tell
trying
you
to
who I was thinking.
I keep thinking Kazar, but that's also Marvel.
It's
So
Marvel. I was thinking, and I'm not going to remember the name of the land either, but wherever there's two places. So Warlord is a DC character, and he got shipped
mm,
off sort of like to, and he became Warlord.
yep.
Uh, there's also Ron, uh, that where what's his name gets transported back and forth to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Adam Strange.
Adam Strange, and then Little Adam,
Hmm.
also when he had his weird, like he shrunk down and got transported to a little world. That's when he had the sword. He kind of became like a weird barbarian character.
Yeah.
So all three of those kind of now. I could see them going to. Like, it'd be interesting if they go to Ron. It'd be interesting if they do wherever Warlord is from.
Yeah.
And I feel like Warlord's more of a James Gunn kind of character. Uh,
Well, funny enough, both of those characters have been recently written by Tom King because he did
that's
Danger
true.
Street Kids that feature Warlock or Warlord, and then also the Strange Adventures with Adam Strange. And we know that
And
James Gunn is a Tom King guy.
well, and every
Um,
time they talk about, they're like, what do they call themselves? The 13th Street Kids or whatever.
yeah,
There's
yeah, the
something
11th
in
Street
the
Kids.
show. Yeah. I always think the Danger Street Kids every time they say it in the show, and I was like, oh, it's like the Danger Street Kids.
They
So
kind of
maybe,
are. That's great. Well, I mean, and I say that James Gunn's a Tom King guy, but James Gunn's probably also like a Jack Kirby guy. So like it
yeah.
would make sense that he would pull from the same stuff that Tom King. Commandy is the boy I was thinking of.
That's it.
That's
Yes.
from the future. So I don't know if that would even fit in. So but yeah, that's it. That's pretty much everything. So that's the finale of season 2. Um like I said, I think we're gonna do a full show with the rest of the guys. I know Clay was at least watching along as well, and you watched Peacemaker. You caught up on Peacemaker in the last few weeks because you had not seen anything when the season started. You had watched like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the first season only. So,
Yeah. I worked
so
I
you
worked
guys
that way through it pretty thoroughly.
fought
Yeah,
your way through.
fought
So
my way through.
I do want to go back and watch the Suicide Squad film just to see how different Peacemaker is.
He's definitely
Um,
grown a lot as a character.
yeah.
I also it's interesting that this ends the week of New York Comic Con because it makes me wonder what's going to happen this weekend. Will we see the cast up there being like, "Hey, thanks for watching the show"? Will we see Supergirl? Will we see a Supergirl thing?
I was hoping
Only
there
time
might
will
be a
tell.
Supergirl trailer after it or something, because that's how
Yeah,
you get people to watch, right? Like, oh, by the way, at the end, I know it's like on TV, so you could just fast forward it. It's not like the same
yeah,
as like go watch the new Supergirl trailer in front of Tron or whatever. So,
yeah.
um, but that would never happen. Tron's a Disney property. Um, yeah,
They're not gonna.
I'm
Did you see
excited.
that they're adding that Ninja Turtle short to SpongeBob, the SpongeBob movie?
I knew nothing about either of those things you just mentioned, although I do like the turtles. So maybe I have AMC the stubs thing, like
Mm-hmm.
so I can buy a ticket just to go watch
Just to go watch
the
Ninja Turtles.
turtle
That's
short.
true. That's very true.
Um, so okay, so yeah, will stay tuned to New York Comic Con. Any announcements? I will tease anybody that's watching this and we'll be covering New York Comic Con this weekend, probably on our Sunday show. On our Saturday show, we'll be talking about Mark Waid. I'm still whittling down my list to try to make it manageable. And then tomorrow, you can expect I talk about the big announcement today, which I don't know how much time we'll have on Sunday, so I wanted to cover this one thoroughly. DC's bringing back Vertigo next year, and they announced
Ooh.
a bunch of titles. So stay tuned. That video should drop tomorrow on the channel. Jeff, before we get out of here, anything else on Peacemaker season 2 or the finale? Do you have any? Do you have one little speculation of like how where we go from here, without going too deep into it, or what you would like to
Uh,
see? I guess.
I'm gonna stick with my. I think that we're gonna obviously they're gonna go try to find Peacemaker. I think they'll get Peacemaker out of the weird wormhole, and I think that we will. I'm gonna say it's Warlord. We're gonna bring Warlord,
That'd be cool.
that character Warlord, back
Now,
over.
does that happen in Peacemaker season 3 or in Superman Man of Tomorrow? Because James
Uh,
Gunn kept mentioning like this is very important for the world going forward.
I think we'll hold off until season 3
Okay.
for
Okay.
this to continue.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, if you want to know what I think is going to happen next, and how the ending of this episode, having a place to isolate metahumans without them being able to come back, fits into that. Last week, I dropped a video on my theory of what Superman Man of Tomorrow is going to be all about, and how Lex Luthor is going to be in the forefront of that. So go check it out. I'll drop a link in the description for that. A little tease. It's all about Brainiac, and now we have a place to sideline Superman, and that was one of the parts that I was missing in my theory. So, James Gunn, I see you. I feel you. Come on the show, James Gunn. We got questions. So, okay,
Maybe that's where we can put the Kandorians.
yeah, right. Oh, that's what we need. That's what we need. More Kryptonians running around. That's
More
all.
Kryptonians.
That's the last thing like Luthor wants. So, okay. Well, thanks everybody that watched live. Thanks everybody that's watching this later on. Jeff, thank you for coming so late. I know it's a school night,
School
uh,
night.
but but
I
it's
get
just
up
so much
early and make
better
those
to do it live.
lunches.
I know. Still gotta go pack. I gotta go prep my backpack. Make sure all my pencils are in there and all that.
Sharpened.
So, yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye bye.